Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am BorderWise and welcome back to Battleship Diary, where we have managed to create a hull of sorts for the Stealth Slung Mark III, now officially known as the Titan Slung, because that's just the name that keeps springing to mind whenever I think of this thing, because it is a Titan. This is... I know just the other day, just the other week, just the other month, I built the biggest thing I've ever had, which is the Bigosaurus, in case you're wondering. Which I'll load in right next to this thing, just as a size comparison. Let's go here, Bigosaurus. And I've just noticed that the Titan Slung is not even close to finished, and it's already more expensive than the Bigosaurus. Interesting, though, is, like, how exactly the Titan Slung is more expensive. Like, okay, no, like, I was about to say it doesn't seem that much bigger. It's a fair amount bigger. It is a fair amount bigger. It's wider, and it's longer, and I think it's taller as well. Yes, yes it is. Also, the armor is very thick. Alright, so, yeah, this is definitely the biggest thing I've ever made so far, so I am filled with trepidation. This hull is pretty much completely non-functional at the moment. It has no engines, it has no ammo compartments, it can't move. But yeah, it's like, it's going broadly in the right direction. I'll get rid of the Bigosaurus quickly, because why not? And I really hope the finished result of this thing I can actually use, because this is like 51,147 blocks, and not even all the deck is in place, so... I might have to start the hull over completely from scratch, depending on its performance, and in particular any performance issues, because if this lags my PC into oblivion, well then, what's the point? I can't really use it. I am reminded of, just this specific moment of, when I first built the Stealth Slung Mark II, I started building the hull around the guns, ended up with something that was much too big, and then scaled it back, and that worked a lot better. I have a sneaking suspicion that that is what's going to happen here. I might have to lose one main turret. I might have to do a bunch of other things, but I think the big block count hog is the armor, because you'll remember last time in Battleship Diary I showed off an ERA-based armor scheme that's countering really strong pen depth APS, or pen depth railguns in particular, because there's a certain point where APS cannons are just too strong, and no amount of sensible armor is gonna counter them, so you need to do clever things with ERA and slopes and etc, etc. And I haven't really done that, because I've tried to be clever, but I've also really gone ham on the ERA, so you can see that this is... the hull armor is basically 2 layers of metal, a layer of alloy, and then an alternating mix of ERA and metal beams. So, I'm literally gonna pause the episode right here and quickly look up who I should be thanking for that tip, because, like, I usually forget people's usernames, and I refuse, and so I'm gonna do that right now, because I'm gonna be a silly, silly boy if I don't do that. Okay, wow, I cannot find it, but somebody told me about this. It might have been on Discord, actually. And, wow, like, I'm so embarrassed, because I'm like, they really do need a shout-out, because this is actually very clever. So we're in here, and what you do is, well, exactly like this. So if you have just a solid layer of ERA, if a APHE shell gets in there, it'll blow out a huge chunk of ERA, and then you'll have a vulnerable spot, which is, let's face it, like Murphy's Law, it's probably going to get hit again. And that's no good, so instead, you can alternate the layers like this. So if a pen depth HE shell hits this block here, the ERA triggers it, but the ERA... just on either side of it, it doesn't get destroyed, because ERA, I will remind you, it like reduces all HE damage to about 20%, which means it does a lot less damage, even if it's a particularly big, powerful one. And which means that these middle beams are enough to save the ERA blocks on either side, which is super handy. And it is very block heavy, but I think this will be able to stand up reasonably well to things like the BBS 5th season, which, by the way, I tested that against the previous strongest thing that I ever showed off on Weird and Wonderful. I should probably remember to link both those videos, actually. And I tested against the Great Filter, and the Great Filter couldn't beat it. And that is something that is, like, powered by Lua, and it's a front-sider, and it's got ridiculously strong particle cannons, and railguns, and etc. And so, yeah, like, this thing, if this thing can't beat the fifth season, then, you know what, I'm gonna have to retire my channel and just become, I don't know, review beauty products or something easier. But not to say that reviewing beauty products is easy. So, the armor scheme is kind of uniform across this, across the entire belt, so it's got this kind of scheme. This took a really long time, or at least it felt like a really long time to set this up. Because you just have to, you'll notice that it does the same thing like up and down, so here's the middle beam, and like even up and down and left and right, there's no, you don't have more than 4 ERA blocks touching each other, except down here, where you do. Is that a metal beam? Yes, it is. And the ERA scheme goes all the way down to like to the very bottom, because, well, except over here. Interesting. No, wait, it does. My bad. Because I found that it's very useful, actually, like, testing what I found with this little fella right here. Let's go find them. It's in test fortresses, just to be confusing. This fella. What I found with testing... Wow, that thing's bigger than I remember. But anyway, so it is very short, though. So what I found by testing this guy is that if you... do this ERA trick. This is not doing the alternating thing. This was before I heard of that. Yeah, so if you don't bring the ERA layer like all the way down and all the way up, what happens is that the like really strong railgun shells, they kind of come in at funny angles, and they do things like, oh, I don't know, like you'll notice this thing has propellers down in this wet space. It comes down and blows the propellers off and stuff like that. So yeah, you need, if you're gonna have a full ERA layer, you kind of need it all the way down and all the way up, which this doesn't do. I am ashamed to say. It goes most of the way up. I think there's only one, yeah, there's one layer up here that doesn't have it. But that is, from the side, that's very short, so that's like a one layer of alloy that doesn't have ERA backing in it. Which hopefully means it'll do just fine, and it's not very likely to happen. I am going to have to do the ERA trick for consistency with these turret necks, which I'm not looking forward to, because that is going to drive the block count up even more. I'm actually amazed that I can spawn this thing in without my entire game lagging, so... yeah, like, I have... filled with trepidation, like I said. Like, I'm not sure how this is going to turn out. I'm not sure if this hull is going to be the final one. It probably won't be. And I haven't even tweaked the turrets to have better armor and stuff like that. In case you're wondering what that wooden arrow is, people have pointed out to me before that there is a little UI thing pointing out where the front is. The problem is that if you're working on your craft, you're looking at the craft, so you can't see that. And in this particular case, this thing is the same front and back. It's, what's the term for it? Like, longitudinally symmetrical? I think I just made that up. Anyway, so, actually, let's get rid of you quickly. Let's just go, whoop. And, so yeah, the front looks the same as the back. You'll notice the turn arrangement is the same. I basically just spent ages on the front of this thing, and it doesn't even look that complicated, but believe me, like, getting a nice, consistent armor scheme and making sure the ERA is all in the place it's supposed to be, it's way more complicated in here than it looks. And, yeah, it's got a... yeah, the bow is considered as armored. I'm doing that for the same reason that, you know, like, people in general do that. Like, in real life, battleships were less armored, I guess, on the stern and bow, I think. Don't quote me on that. And certainly, the but basically you don't put armor in, like, to protect empty space. And I'm not sure what I'm going to stick in here. I'm probably going to stick azipods, because azipods are amazing, and I haven't exactly left room on the outside of this to stick propellers, so that's annoying. Yeah, flags on the back just to really make sure that my stupid self doesn't get the front confused with the back. Let's talk about the turret arrangement, because the turret arrangement I am pleased with. This is the benefits of planning ahead and measuring your turrets ahead of time, and etc, etc. This is pretty much what I was imagining. So we've got one cram cannon in front. I just want to check. Is that... Yeah, that's a heavy barrel, thank goodness. If it was a regular barrel, I would have been like, ugh, I have to rebuild the cram cannons. Again. I've done that before. Can we see the damage numbers? No, we cannot, because we don't have any ammo. But yeah, so... we've got one cram cannon in front, we got our main APS gun, which, in case you wonder, the customizer is on the turret, so I don't forget about it. I'm not sure where to stick the ammo customizers yet. Certainly not there. This is for the Seawers. But yeah, they're just there, so I have the thing handy, and I don't need to keep a prefab saved, because it's just there. It's there, so there it is. It approaches. It's got one cram cannon firing. Maybe it'll get lucky, but it's got this long-range weapon up in front. Because, like I've said before in previous videos, both the Stahlslung Mark 1 and Mark 2... I haven't looked at the Stahlslung Mark 1 in a long time, actually. I wonder how she's doing. I'll spawn her in a second. But the idea is that you tend to, even if you've set the broadside distance to be quite long, there are frequently occasions where she's needing to drive towards something in order to approach it. And if you've only got, like, cram cannons in the front, what I usually have done is stick the APS in the back. It actually doesn't make much sense to do that because it's, you know, not in the right place to shoot forward. Unless you're going at things arse first, which is one way to do it, whatever you're into. But in this case, it means that the long-range weapon, or at least an extra long-range weapon, is going to be firing while we're closing in, which is very handy. Also, we've got one laser up there, and I appear to be sticking with this horrible self-contained turret laser. And I did get one comment saying, it's like, oh no, what have you done to that poor laser? And I'm like, yes, I know. It's terrible. This thing is going to require so much power. I think I'm going to need to, I have to use either injector engines, or I'm going to need to do something creative with steam, which I'm not looking forward to, because I'm not good with steam. It is not my specialty. I do, now that I'm looking at this, I am thinking that, yeah, I do have enough internal room, even in this big heavy armor compartment, to do everything I want, which is nice, which is very, very nice. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, this is why you gotta, never mind! Like, okay, so... This is still valid Battleship Diary, but look at the no, oh no, no. Okay, so this is flush over here, and I could just move the turrets to the side a little bit, but no, but then the entire hull is too wide. Did I just... Wait, no, wait a minute. Oh, thank goodness, it's just those turrets. It's just those Oh, I was not play acting there. I was genuinely thinking, oh my god, no. I don't want to do that. The entire hull is still too wide. Okay, I'm just going to fix this right on camera because I must do that. I must do that right now because that's bad. Alright. Okay, I thought for a second that I built the entire hull around these things wrong. Oh, I would have been so upset. That would have been so upsetting. I would have been, like, so upsetty in my spaghetti. Like, you don't even know, dude. Alright. What the hell? Oh, this feels weird. This feels so weird. Oh, jeez. Now you see we've got wasted space in here, so I might just have to... I might have to do this whole hull again. But I don't want to. Let me know in the comments if you want me to commit to this, because, like, oh, Oh no. Okay, is that nice and centered? Yeah, I think that's nice and centered now. God damn, man. I mean, I could move... What the... Like, I could move... Let's see here. I could move... boy. See, like, this is what I really absolutely despise about making very large craft, is that, like, if you make a mistake, simply because you're doing more stuff, you're placing more blocks, the odds of you making a mistake are actually really, really high, and sometimes it's like a game-breaking mistake. Alright, you know what I'm gonna do? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna move all of these turrets back a little bit. I'm not sure if that's any... This turned into a live Let's Build all of a sudden, and I don't care for that in the least. Okay. Alright, and just wait, like, over here now, I'm going to be making another mistake, and it's going to be terrible. Why is there a gap in there? That doesn't need... Cripes. Well, that's what happens when you build giant-ass stuff, so... It's what happens when you build giant-ass stuff. You make a little mistake early on, and then you're screwed. So the Titan Slung is off to a good bad start. So, alright, I want to finish off now just by spawning in the Star Slung Mark II and the Mark I next to this thing, just so we can compare sizes. I think mainly the Star Slung Mark II is flatter, which is why she's considerably less blocks. Yeah, she's only 27,000 blocks, so the Titan Slung is like so much bigger. Not even funny. Not even funny how much bigger she is. Yeah, wow, yeah, the Titan Slung is thick. She chunky. She very chunky. Man, I already missed the Mark II because I like long, slender things. It's just that that's not a good hull for armor scheme. Things are naturally going to be thicker. So let's go here. Let's go find this original Star Slung we haven't looked at in it. That's only that's less than 18,000 blocks. Are you joking? Less than 8... This thing... Maybe it's because I've been building large stuff non-stop, but... Oh, the memories are flooding back. She's tiny compared to this. Oh, the power creep is real. And these crappy triple crams. Oh my god. That little vestigial superstructure. Oh, but I had such fun with this. Let's look at the armor scheme, because I forgot about this. Oh, that primitive spole liner. Primitive from a bygone era. Oh my god. Man. Those were the days, man. Wow, I haven't looked at the Star Slung Mark I and Mark II for a long time. I don't remember what she got up to back in the day. Wow. The Titan Slung is really titanic compared to these things. Maybe I should do the hull over again, because she looks... Compared to the previous two, she looks kind of out of place. She looks fat. She looks overweight. Still slopey. I guarantee you, someone is going to be like, still a canoe. It's still a canoe. Stop overreacting. I'm like, okay, fine. Like a canoe addiction, I guess. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. See, that's about it for this this Battleship Diary, because, like, really, what else can you say? Like, I built this hull. It's going in the right direction, but I think the path is wiggling a little bit, because, I think it might end up just being too big. Like, this is well on the way, I think, to being, like, 60,000 blocks, 70,000 maybe, and, like, that's too big. That's too big. I can't do that. I completely forgot about your weird torpedo face down here. Did anybody ever comment how this looks like a face? because it looks like a face. Please don't collide with each other. That would be terrible. So yeah, that does it for this. Wow, you really are Tokyo Drift. You're gonna Tokyo Drift right into your effect. Yeah, you are. You are. You cheeky sod. Can you not? This is why I don't use up props anymore. I try and avoid using them as much as possible. Damn it, Stall Slung Mark 1. Anyway, so that just about does it for this episode of Battleship Diary. It's rather short and sweet. There's not much to talk about. I've built a hull, and that took ages. And I might not keep this hull. I might swap this hull out for something more sensible, because this isn't sensible. I mean, jeez. Jeez, this is not a sensible hull in the least. I might build an... Yeah, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have another crack at it, but I'm going to do something slightly different. I'm going to do something a little bit different. So, like, we can feel our options out. And it's ironic that for Giant Craft, you, like, might have to try more than one hull just to get what you're looking for. So, on that merry note, thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Support me on Patreon or YouTube membership if you like. It really helps, and there's fun perks in it for you. Thank you to all my current supporters, and I will see you next time in Battleship Diary. I'm really enjoying this series, actually. I just get to build and then talk about it. Waffle at length. So farewell!